took some time, but I rebought my old EU Star Wars collection. I'd given up on Star Wars shortly after The Last Jedi, but after your EU analysis, I decided to go back. Cheers. Thank you, sir. Cheers to you. I really appreciate hearing that and appreciate you telling me that. That's good news. That's what I like to hear. Because I get it. It is easy to be just completely discouraged, right? It's so easy to get really discouraged. And, I understand it. Fanman talks a lot about, this is kind of his take on things where he can't even bring himself to watch the classic Star Wars trilogy. He can't even bring himself, he's a Star Trek Next Gen fan, and he can't even bring himself to watch Star Trek Next Gen anymore because of what people have done to it. I really disagree with that. I think that's kind of like, that's where they win, I mean, I totally get where he's coming from, and I sympathize and empathize with him because it really, when the culture around you has just gone full on trying to discredit and deconstruct and remake in hindsight the franchises that you loved, and so many supposed fans. I mean, again, I'm not a Next Gen fan, so I never really had a dog in the hunt, as they say, when the Star Trek Next Generation or Picard series and all that came out. I knew it was crap, Picard, because it was just politics as usual. But it's so many Star Trek fans around us that were usually right there with us fighting the too woke fight and stuff like that. We're just like, actually, guys, season 2 got pretty good, So they were watching it and gobbling it up, and I can see how it would be hard. I don't know. I can easily disconnect it, though. They will never take away from me the classics that we had back in the day. Doesn't matter how much Disney wants to rewrite continuity and all of whatever their BS nonsense, they will never take away from me the original Star Wars trilogy, the glorious EU, and so forth with all the other franchises as well. They'll never take that away from me. Even the MCU. I can still watch the first part of the MCU, which I think was glorious. I know some people checked out of it or whatever for this or that reason, but man, I mean, you as far as I'm concerned, you can't get better than the first Captain America movie or that first Avengers film. I thought that was wonderful, and I'll never, I can still watch those movies and not think about them as definitely leading towards, Endgame and the whole Marvel nonsense that came after it and whatnot. But, I know that's it's a wound that needs time to heal for some people. So it's nice to know that you, Auditor Dread, at least, were able to return to the great EU books. Appreciate hearing that. I had a few more thoughts on that little comment because what I said there was a cutout of a live stream. And as you see, it was prompted by somebody's super chat, and I just gave some thoughts on it. And putting that together, I realized I wanted to just make sure I really fully stated one thing. When I said that that's how they win if they get you to be tired of your original franchises. That is one of the things they want to do. Now they would love to be able to remake these franchises to push their agenda into it. They would love for that to replace what you thought of as the old one. They would love for you to think of Star Wars now as, all of this nonsense with the ideologies, same thing with Marvel and so forth, or Dune or whatever. But if they can't do that, they will be perfectly happy with just ruining the original subject matter for you. If you can just at least never go back to the original Star Wars, if that's too painful for you, great. They've at least eliminated that piece of foundational cultural mythology from you. They're perfectly happy with that. Don't let them do that. Do not let them win. Make time, schedule time in to your year or whatever to watch some of these foundational classic, franchise films or read the books or whatever. And don't let them take that from you. Don't let them even slyly take that from you. Don't let them make you think, well, I've heard so much about Dune lately. I don't really want to read the book right now. I need to kind of do something else or whatever. No, you haven't heard so much about Dune. You've heard so much about Hollywood's garbage. Dune, go read the real book. Go back to these stories, whether it's Lord of the Rings or great graphic novels of the past or whatever. Don't let them take those from you. That's vitally important to your own psychology and to our society. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue stories you love.